And welcome to.
Hey, we like your pod. And Dawn, we are backwards here. I'm going to shift us up over here.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here. And I'm joined, as always, by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett. How you doing, Matt? So good to see you.
Good to see you too, Dawn. I'm doing well. I had a win at work today. There's a whole puzzle that people have been trying to solve. I figured out a way to do it. Got it executed today. Got it finished. Put it to bed. I am excited about it. I won't go into the details because it would get drawn out and a little boring. But suffice to say, I found a way to help students in a way that nobody could quite figure out before. Really excited about it. So thinking about that, and we're getting ready for our move to a new house, which is of course very exciting and is a lot. But beyond all that stuff, the important thing is that the Packers are the number one seed. A phrase we don't really make any sense until it's actually placed, but the number one seed in the NFC, which is weird in a season where they are looking like little, they're playing annoyingly the last few games, and yet you can't complain too much because they're on top and could stay there.
No asterisks as far as I'm concerned. A win is a win. Number one seed, and we've been number one seed quite a lot the past few years. So I always love to see that. It may not last forever. It might.
Right.
But how you feeling about the battle of the Exes coming up on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I know that a lot of people have said it's kind of a bad matchup for us because a lot of the things that the Steelers do well have been Achilles heels for us. A quarterback, it doesn't matter how old he is, who can get the ball out really fast to large physical receivers on the outside. DK Metcalf, looking at you, has been a real problem for us the last couple of weeks. And so is it possible, given, the fact that Aaron Rodgers, though he's not Aaron Rodgers anymore, he's still Aaron Rodgers, if you know what I mean? He's better than, Joe Flacco. He's better than, what's his face? We just barely beat this last week.
Well, Joe Flacco,
he might be just better enough. What's that?
Joe Flacco beat him 1 week ago, Thursday.
That is true. That's a good point, actually. Of course, that's Joe Flacco with, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And so, yeah, I mean, what's going to happen? I don't know. I think it'll be a good game. I think we'll have fun. Obviously, the stories and the narratives write themselves, in kind of a fun way. And I'm really glad that Aaron Rodgers this week and the Packers this week have been more fondly reminiscing about each other kind of back and forth. And that's been really cool to see, because it could have been Aaron Rodgers I'm going to beat that old team, and they were really mean to me and they wronged me, and he hasn't really done much of that, which I really appreciate, because it's going to be a lot more fun if it's more there's the love and the friendship there, even if they're going to both try to win. Both sides will obviously want to win. I mean, I hope we beat Aaron Rodgers into the ground. Hope Micah Parsons sacks him every single play.
I know.
But in the end, it's still Aaron Rodgers, and for all of the of the whole Aaron Rodgers of it all the last few years, with him kind of becoming a conspiracy theorist, etc. In the end, once this is all over, and once he retires a Packer officially, like he said this week he was planning to do, once he comes back to Lambeau Field for his name going on the the Ring of Honor, and in the end, it's going to be all love for Aaron Rodgers. Even if it's a company with a little bit of an eye roll, it's going to be all love for Aaron Rodgers. And so this week, I'm really excited for the game, and it's one where, because it's a bad matchup for us, if we lose, I'm not going to be down on it. I'll be well,
okay,
it's a team that was built well to beat us, and the Packers have historically been not great, in Pittsburgh when they've played it. We haven't won there since 1970 or something like that. 55 years. I mean, that's bananas. So, we'll see what happens. I'm just going to enjoy it, and chances are I'll be super pumped afterwards, no matter what, and won't be able to get to sleep, and we'll be, half asleep all day Monday. So how about you, Don? That was me rambling a lot. How about you?
Yeah. Well, as far as Rodgers, he has to do that now, because he does want to come back, and he does want, I'm sure his publicist and whoever is advising him, taught him he learned his lesson by spouting off, I think,
Mm.
the way he did. So
Yeah,
I'm not going to give him any credit for not being Aaron Rodgers this week, but we'll see.
fair.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the rest of the week goes. I'm reserving judgment on that part of it. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm hoping we win. And we do have a cup. We have another. Marshall Lloyd is like on our now.
He's on Death Watch. I don't think he exists. I think he's
Yeah,
a figment of our imagination. What the heck is
yeah,
going on there?
yeah. But for me, I finished my antibiotics, my 2 months of antibiotics on Sunday. I have not had a headache since Saturday. I am so my energy's coming back. Because the antibiotics are working, because they're still in your system when you take them for that long, for at least
Right.
10 more days. So I am just super happy about all that. I'm very much looking forward to the game. I'm just so good. And then I'm excited about football, kind of like I feel like we're starting to get out of the preseason now. And this is going to be the real season, right? And I think now that, I mean, for all teams, there's just been so much bunkers stuff going on. And I think a lot of it's just like what this is now. The preseason was September, and now even maybe a couple weeks in October. And I feel like, okay, now this is really football. So I'm feeling that vibe, and I'm super excited about it. Yeah.
So you mean kind of like the teams have been playing enough now to have found somewhat of an identity and like know how they can operate best? Like, is that kind of what you mean, or?
I kind of just mean that the previous games were kind of like practice. And but
Right.
but in so doing, yeah, they've found their identity, their weaknesses and their strengths. And I just feel like a lot's going to change for all teams in the NFL. It's pretty unpredictable. But that's okay. That's okay that it's unpredictable, because I don't bet or anything, so I don't care about that. I'm just looking for a very, very good game. So, hey, to True North, can Dawn do another long soliloquy this week? I don't have
have to watch
any more of the game.
Yeah, so I don't
Oh,
have to watch any more of the game. Yeah, no doubt. This game tonight, Chargers versus Vikings. The Vikings are looking bad. Apologies
I
to
think
Paul
it's
Farrington,
fun.
but man, oof.
Well, you might
No, I
not
think
know this, but San Diego Chargers is my home team. So, and a lot of my friends are happy. So I'm happy for the Chargers.
there you
And
go.
I do love Herbert.
I was
think
gonna say
just
he's a
wonderful.
delight. I like
Yeah.
him a lot.
Yeah. It's very well coached. They've had just horrible injuries. So I kind of feel for them. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do a long soliloquy or not. But with that, it's time for this week's superlatives.
I love this, like 2 weeks in a row that you've caught me off guard with it. Like it's like sneak attack. Superlatives. Love it.
So with that, okay, so I brought 3 superlatives. They're all kind of the same category, and Matt has 3. So I will start with my category then, since we're even Steven. So my overarching category I am calling most cornered. With the trade deadline looming in about a week, 10 days, 11/4, whatever the 4th of November is, maybe 2 weeks almost. Fans are looking for answers, but are the Packers? What do you think? So I picked out a few articles. ESPN, Zach Cruz identifies one player to buy and one to sell for the Packers at the trade deadline. Did you read this, Matt?
I didn't.
Okay, ESPN, Packers Wire. So I'm just going to summarize. Zach said that the Packers could be both buyers and sellers in the upcoming NFL trade deadline. They identify Roger McCreary. I think we're hearing a lot about him. I don't know if you're hearing a lot about him, but I have been. As a potential acquisition to address the team's need at the position corner, obviously, if you didn't get that by the the name of my superlative. So, and it just despite some concerns about his recent performance. Okay. Edge rusher Kinsley Enigbare is named as a player the Packers might consider trading to recoup draft capital. especially given his contract year and depth at his position. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. And I just put a note here for myself, and I don't even remember why I put it. This is just me. I said, since Sorrel is more adaptable than Enigbari, and LVN will eventually come back, maybe this could work. I don't know. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting because like I think that JJ Enagbare is like better than a lot of edge rushers out there, but we just don't see it as much because he's behind a couple of monsters, you know, in the depth chart. But like he has those like moments when he gets to be on the field and he'll do something. I think he had maybe it was a quarterback hit this last game, something that was like, oh, there's JJ.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him being a valuable piece on a team that has like much less talent, you know, at that position. So I could see a team being interested, and I could see us being like, you know what, we had a good time with you, man. Nobody could pronounce your name correctly, which was a bummer, and we'll see you. Could happen.
Yeah, he's got value, and yeah, he isn't. It's not a slight on him in any way, but he isn't getting that much field time, and he's a little bit more specialized, whereas Sorrel is more adaptable. He can play different ways and stuff. So yeah, so that was my first on Most Cornered from Zach Cruz.
I like it. Well, my first one, Dawn, this week is Best Analysis. So this is the second time I've mentioned this series. You could call it a podcast, but it's more of a web show. This season, it's really great. This is Tyler Brooks' Best Available Videos. He did one called Why Micah Parsons is Worth Every Penny. Packers Film Study versus Cardinals. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Tyler Brooks really smart. He knows football really well. This is a given, right? But it's the way that he's able to like break it down to like milliseconds on the play. Like here is like this super subtle thing that Micah Parsons does, where he like moves his head a little bit, makes the defender kind of shift his weight, and then he like uses that shift in the weight of the defender against him, jukes around the side, like all these like super subtle little things that I mean, I was never gonna notice any of that from like, you know, watching the game, and I don't have like the all 22 and I like watch the games back and any of that. And I'm just watching when it happens. And I guess also clips, of course, you know, on social media, but like it was just so cool to see how talented Micah Parsons is in the work that he's doing, you know, in a way that was really easy to understand and really interesting and entertaining. So Tyler Brook just like hit it out of the park with that video. No surprise. It was really good. Did you see it, Dawn?
I did not see it. Was it? I think I heard about it. Maybe I saw it. Was it on YouTube?
Yeah. So Best Available is like it's like a YouTube show basically. I don't know if it ever goes to like podcast platforms. It wouldn't really make much sense for it too, since it's a lot of like film study stuff. But yeah, a good watch.
I didn't, but I have been looking at him, and you might have picked up on this by watching that video with Tyler Brook, but it's almost like a cat. If you watch a cat, these little micro movements, and you can read what they're going to do next if you're really paying attention. But they're not like dogs where it's like, bah! You know, they're more like really subtle and shifting of the weight, and you can get some real indications of what might be going on with watching a cat really closely. And I feel like personally that Micah Parsons is kind of cat-like. I thought that watching him. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, and like, because he's quick like a cat too. He flips you like a cat, right? He's got the quick and also fast, right? And in his interviews, you know, I think a cat doesn't care what you think about it, right? Micah Parsons is just going to say whatever. And his locker room interviews, he'll throw the, you know, the refs under the bus. You know, he'll tell it like it is. And you know, a way that like a dog, if a dog's being loyal and trying to like please people, they'll you know, be like, oh no, the refs are great, my teammates are great. That'd be a dog. But he's just gonna say whatever. So, you know, I think you're onto something here. He is kind of cat-like, isn't he? Interesting.
Especially when you talk about like the way they just shift their legs or just move your foot slightly in to change you might be shifting your whole weight just by moving your toes a little, and a lot of people won't even see that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. Well, of course, you are a cat expert. True North throws out here. Dawn knows all about watching a cat closely because her cat is always trying to kill her.
She's not.
As we know.
She's not. Some cats are, but my cat's not.
Not lately.
Yeah, lately. Yeah, I've been able to get by with a lot of stuff with her lately. She's pretty mellow, my cat. Okay, so let's see. So this was from Lior Lampert. Do you know Lior?
No, not at all.
LombardiAv.com. Okay.
Yeah, no, I should learn the name.
I didn't recognize the name, so I was like, under the radar trade could solidify Packers as a certified Super Bowl contender. That was tension grabbing. Lampert discusses a potential trade that could make I'm all into the trade deadline thing. It's almost like draft time.
I love it.
A trade that could, I more was interested in what can we do? Like, okay, there is a trade deadline and nobody seems to be doing anything big. So we're expecting some different things to happen with like middle tier players in the next couple of weeks, because if somebody really wanted somebody big, it would have happened in the earlier part of the trade season session, whatever it's called. So period. So the article suggests that the Packers acquire Roger McCreary. Oh, that same guy. I'm seeing a pattern. A fourth-year cornerback from the Titans, which the other article didn't mention, but yeah, he's from the Titans, who's in his final season of his rookie contract and considered expendable by the Titans. So ESPN's Matt Bowen and Jeremy Fowler also listed McCreary as a trade candidate with the Green Bay Packers as a potential fit. So there's a lot of chitter chatter about this. Okay. This article highlights McCreary's versatility, and I can send you the link if you want it. Just let me know. And physicality as valuable qualities, of course, noting his 30 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and an interception in only 7 games so far in 2025. This was up to date.
What?
30 tackles.
That sounds good, right? I mean,
it sounds really good, especially if you compare it to, no offense, in Barry or whatever, who has like a half a sack. Okay, so let me repeat that. 30 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and an interception in 7 games in 2025. And he's a 68.6 Pro Football Focus coverage grade. So he suggests a day 3 pick swap, whatever that means. I didn't look into it, which might be day 3 pick. So get a day 3, which the other article, if you go deeper into it, kind of is suggesting too. So, so that's Lombardi Avenue. Under the radar trade could solidify Packers certified Super Bowl contenders.
I like it. Roger McCreary.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And there's more too, but let's hear your next one.
Yeah. Anything we can do to help the corners. My goodness. My next one is best guest. So, one of the really fun new podcasts this season is the one that Matt Schneidman and John Kuhn are doing. It's called The Tundra. It's good because they often have like guests on. They've had Andy Agar a couple of times, for example. This week it was a guest, but it was like its own segment, like its own pre-recorded segment, which isn't always usually how they do it. It was John Kuhn interviewing David Bakhtiari. These guys, of course, were teammates. They had a lot of overlap in their time in Green Bay. So the way they talk to each other, it's different than like, say, with no shade, if it was Matt Steinman, interviewing David Bakhtiari, it'd be a lot different.
Right.
But because they're fellow players talking to each other, there's ways they talk about stuff. There's like, things they both know about that they can reference. There's a lot of like really inside knowledge that's kind of being just discussed casually. And it's just super fun. And like John Kuhn, he's gotten better and better at interviewing and like in his media presence. Like I really enjoy his work. And David Bakhtiari, he's hilarious and so smart.
Yeah.
And so just getting a chance to, hear from him a bit, what he's been up to, what his time was like, in the league, has some perspective on how things are going. It was so fun. It was just a really fun listen. I was driving somewhere. I think I was driving to help my wife pick up her car from the mechanic or something like that. And I was just sitting there going like, man, this is great. I want to be listening to this with somebody who gets it. Like super fun interview. So if you haven't checked that out, so much fun.
I will. I did hear some chatter about that. I just didn't have a chance. That sounds really great. I did listen to an interview with who was our center that we traded to the Chargers. He was really good.
Josh Myers.
No.
Oh no. Right before that. Yeah.
Yes. Why did I forget his name?
I know who you mean now. Shoot, yeah. Before Josh Myers, our
Anyway,
previous center, Corey
so
Lindsley. Corey Lindsley.
Corey, yes, yeah, and he's a golfing partner with Rogers, and they were kind of like, "What do you think he's going to think about this?" And he had some insight and just about the game too, and all that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the biggest Rogers fan anymore, so. So yeah, very cool. I would check that out. I heard a little about that, and it sounds great. Bakhtiari's fun. He's just a fun guy. Yeah.
And there's a reason why Lombardi's Bar uses David Bakhtiari, prominently in the show for like the betting segment, because it's like you bet 1 through 5 Bakhtiaris on something, and the images of David Bakhtiari chugging a beer because that's just fun. Just a fun guy.
Yeah, he's fun. All right, so here's another new author that I don't remember us ever talking about. So there's a couple benefits to picking this one. Packers should consider trade for underrated cornerback with Nate Hobbs. Continued struggles. I liked this article. So this gentleman's name is, and do forgive me, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Sem, C-E-M.
Okay.
Yolbulan. Yolbulan. And I did look at his biography. This gentleman is from Turkey, which is really cool. And he lives in DC. Yeah. Okay. With his cats, lots of cats and dogs. Okay. So Sam, just so he's an animal lover. So Sam discusses Packers' struggles with cornerback Nate Hobbs, which has also been on my mind, and suggests trading for, guess who? Roger McCreary.
No way.
I was like, whoa. I really wasn't looking that up. It just was of the Titans. Hobbs' performance has been underwhelming, and the coaching staff, particularly Matt LaFleur, has been reluctant to replace him with Carrington Valentine, which bothers me because Valentine does a pretty good job.
Yes. I like Valentine a lot.
So I don't get that. McCreary is presented, but we don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes either. So McCreary is presented as a good trade deadline fit. Being a versatile cornerback with experience playing both outside and in the slot, and he could be acquired for a day 3 pick. So day 3 plus Nate. And so I had to do some digging about how much was that expensive. So, but I'll get to that. So the article argues that McCreary would be an immediate upgrade. Yeah, it sounds like it, over Hobbs and over Javon Bullard. So it would give us more optionality. Which I didn't know was a word, but he used it. So anyhow, the Packers have about $8 million-ish in cap space.
Okay.
To play with if they want. They might want to save some of it for the end of the season as well. So I don't know if they would go for, and then also I wanted to know, because Nate Hobbs got 4 years, $48 million, right? So I wanted to know, well, is that going to cost us $12 million? Like, are we going to get only a half a year out of the 12 million? How's that going to work? And evidently the cap hit for that would only be like actual money that he gets paid, that we get hit with, is about 7-8 million, not the whole 12 that you would if you just took 48 divided by 4, because that's never how it works.
No, it's really complex.
Yeah, but so it wouldn't cost the whole 12, and it would still have some cap space left over, several million, a few-ish, 4. So I kind of dug into that too, because I haven't really been looking at the cap space this year much anyway. So anyway, so that's just a little bit of what I had as far as most cornered, because I do feel like we are a little bit cornered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there had been some other rumors. Here's one kind of outlandish. I don't know. I thought this was interesting. Packers and Browns trading. Packers would send Haversick plus a 6th round pick if they know McManus is 100%, of course, before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And the Browns would send Michael Carter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I like that. But again, like, is McManus's leg going to feel all better? Because they still don't have him practicing, but we still have a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
So
he's got time. Yeah.
And the Browns really need a kicker. Yeah. So, because I was like, oh, what can we do? And then, so for the obvious gains, so we'd get a cornerback. That would be really great. And then there's also the Titans, obviously the Seahawks, and the Commanders need a kicker and might have a corner to trade. So things could happen. So in other words, keep your eye out because things could happen. Yeah, I got really excited when I read this article, and then I did a little extra digging. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope something happens. I mean, like I said, we need some help out there. Don, I loved your theme this week because one, I haven't been paying much attention to the trade rumors. In fact, earlier this week, somebody like mentioned offhand the smoke about A-Chain. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Wait, what's going on here? What's the context? I had to go like look stuff up. Like I'm just not paying attention to it for whatever reason.
Right.
So to hear like 3 sources looking at McCreary, Roger McCreary is the name, right? Is that it? Roger McCreary, 3 different sources kind of saying this might be a thing. I don't know if they're saying it's likely or if it's just a good idea, but regardless, it's exciting to think that like something could happen to help out because that is
something exciting. Yes. Yeah. HM would be exciting too, but I think we really need, I just guess it depends on how hurt Josh Jacobs is because he's in a little bit of struggle.
Something, I think.
Well, part of it is he was sick. And then he was sick 2 games, and then the hamstring, or was it a calf? No, the calf. I think it was Jacob. So, yeah, I know. So, but I think the corner for me seems the most important. But
it's easily one of our 2 weakest positions right now. I think easily.
Yeah, and True North says, speaking of betting, and this could have easily been what I talked about tonight. The NBA scandal, another NBA scandal. Oh, surprise. I'm so surprised that's happening. Yeah. If you've been watching Pablo Torre Finds Out, man, he's been all over this NBA stuff. So speaking of betting, True North says this Chauncey Billups stuff is crazy. 30 people have been arrested in the NBA.
What? I didn't realize that. Holy cow.
A couple of players, coach. Yes. It's big. I have a list, of course.
Of course.
I just was like, give me a list because I didn't have time to read the indictments and all that, but I'll be definitely diving into that just because that's the concern about having gambling and sport. It's just a thing. It's a thing. All right, Maddie, what's your final one?
Yeah, my last one is best podcast. So let's say, you're the central person of a podcast and then you're going to be traveling for some reason, but you still want to put something out for people, but you don't want to have to like schedule the weird time you have with your co-host. Let's say that happens, right? Yeah. Maybe you find a guest co-host. Maybe you just do a solo podcast. Maybe you do a solo podcast while you're drinking a bunch of bourbon. I don't know. People have different things they like to do. So that is the thing that Paul Noonan does, of course, with recording. Reporting is eligible. I'm sorry, recording. Reporting is eligible. He's at like a conference this week or something. So what he does, because it's like a annual conference he goes to, is he answers like every single question people put out there, and he'll take like no matter what the question is. Yes. Any question. And so you get a lot of like really interesting variety because most of the weeks, I mean, they pretty much get to every question as it is, but like most weeks people are trying really hard to like bring in really smart football questions and they deliver. The questions on there, we said before, are of extremely high quality. And so with this, he calls it the Bourbon Cast. So the Bourbon Cast, it's a lot like kind of like looser and like, people are just kind of saying, like asking whatever questions. Like there's some like serious football questions in there, of course, but then also people are like, so did you have a Nintendo Entertainment System? Like what were your favorite games? So like, nothing to do with football. And of course he likes some football games. So it comes back to football a little bit, but still that sort of like fun atmosphere and Paul Noonan I think also takes liberty of like, I'm just going to take as long as I want kind of talking through this thing. I don't feel like we need to get through it quickly because I'm not like, it's nobody else's time here, my co-host. I'm not like keeping them up if I kind of take my time answering questions. So he gives these like wonderfully long answers to the things. It's basically like just pure unfiltered and just slightly tipsy Paul Noonan for it was like 2 hours long. It was a real joy to listen to. I really loved it.
Well, he posted about it on Blue Sky and I grabbed it and I listened too. I was going to text you because I heard your question. I
That's right.
love
I
that
did ask a question. Yeah.
I love that he's going to make an album of his songs. How
Yes. They're
fun
so
is
good.
that? Yes. So no, he's a delight, and I kind of forgot he was a lawyer too. So
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, it's interesting because he does like to talk, and every lawyer that I know loves to talk, and that's kind of a good quality. That's why
Yeah.
there's so many lawyers on YouTube. Because they'll just
That
talk
makes
and
sense.
answer your
Yeah.
question. They're just happy to do it, and they like teaching, and yeah. So highly recommend. It's worth a listen. On Spotify or whatever, wherever you listen. He's not on YouTube, is he? Is he on YouTube? I thought he was.
I don't think
I couldn't
so.
find it. I think
I don't
he
think they
was.
do on YouTube at all. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, where does he get the chats through his Patreon or?
Yeah, because I'm actually a patron
Yeah.
of their Patreon.
Yeah.
But people can also put questions through Blue Sky and through Twitter as well.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Because I didn't see.
But they do. So anybody who's like on the Patreon, they'll always answer all the Patreon questions. And it's like,
Sure.
and then for Blue Sky and Twitter, they might answer the other ones. They might not.
Right. Standard. All right, Maddie. Well, that's just awesome. Next week we are going to have a different schedule. It'll be Saturday, not Thursday night football halftime, and it's a different host for next week because Matt's moving, and it's going to be Miranda Marie. So hopefully you are all following her. She's always great to talk to. So it's going to be a little bit different. So don't look for us here if you're in the chat. We won't be here until Saturday, and I can go live with Miranda, or I can just record it. I didn't know if anybody would be wanting to be in the chat on Saturday in the middle of the day. I think we're doing it around 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern tomorrow, Saturday afternoon, a week from this coming Saturday. So just a heads up to our lovely chatters. So Maddie, let's bring her home.
Right on. So as I'm getting to that point in the show doc, I'll just say real fast, I almost said recording is eligible when I was talking about it. That's because Paul Noonan did say like, hey, suggest a name for the album,
Oh yeah.
And
I was going to ask you.
Recording is eligible. It's right there. So I sent him a message. Like, I sent him a message saying, hey, this is the name. Look no further. He's got another one in the hopper he's thinking about. So maybe that might be the one. It might be the one. We'll see.
Oh, I hope so. That's so obvious because I think I listened to this last night or the night before, and I went to bed thinking, what should he call it? Yeah, that's great. I love that. Obvious. It's right there for the pick.
That's how I feel about it. Okay, Can I tell you a quick story? I know you're trying to like wrap it up here, but just
no.
Quick, okay? So there is this is a totally tangential final thought, but it'll be my final thought. That's fine. So sometimes there are those things that are so obvious that are right there, like recording is eligible, right? And the phrase in our house that we use for that is the passing bowel. Let me explain real fast. So there was a wind ensemble piece that I had to play in my sophomore year of college, and none of us liked it. So Warren Benson, if you're listening, Warren Benson, I think that's his name. Yeah, if you're listening, sorry, man. We didn't like the piece. And it's called The Passing Bell. And so we had to go and perform it at a conference, actually, at a state conference.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And we were getting ready to play the song. We're kind of like, getting our music ready and stuff like that. And the bass trombonist, Eric Larson, sitting next to me goes, the passing bowel. And like,
he just figured it out.
I think of passing bell, turn to the bowel. And so like, it's one of those, like, I was right there. Why didn't we think of that until earlier? But of course it's just in time because we're about to perform it. And so that for me remains like the form of it was right there, kind of like, pun sort of a thing, play on words.
Right.
And yeah, so recording is eligible. It's a passing bowel moment.
Oh God. I'm not sure if you will like that. That doesn't sound. Oh.
What?
Chargers just the Vikings finally got to the end zone, and the Chargers intercepted and ran it all the way back for another touchdown.
Oh no. Oh, Paul Fairton's in hell right now. I'm so sorry.
So let's see what happened. Okay, Wentz is falling down. He's on one knee and he's got the ball like his turned upside down and he's like flicking it out. Of course, somebody else is going to grab it. Ooh. That wasn't very smart, Wentz.
and ran it
So
all the
now
way
it's
back.
30-3. Oh, that's hilarious.
Wow.
I love laughing at the Vikings so much. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
I feel that.
I'm
All
so
right.
sorry.
And that was a good final thought from you, Dawn. So.
That was my final thought.
All right. So, friends, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right. We love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you Saturday on
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.